So after months of delays in diplomatic red tape, the CIA finally starting to deliver weapons to rebels in Syria. This was an order apparently that went out 3 months ago. Something that Senator John McCain has said will ultimately help end the conflict. Watch.
I think the best way to bring this thing to an end is to get the Free Syrian Army the weapons they need. And if you give me a second to say, look, there is al-Nusra, there's al-Qaeda. They are there in Syria, and their numbers are growing larger. But still, the preponderance of the fighting is being done by the Free Syrian Army, who are moderates.
What about that? General Jack Keane has studied this issue as well as anybody. Retired four-star general, former vice chief of staff to the Army, and a Fox News military analyst. Let me get to the poll in a moment, General. First of all, talk about this from a military standpoint. Is McCain right in what he says?
Well, he absolutely is. I mean, the fact of the matter is we should have begun arming the moderate rebels 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, last year, during the summer, the CIA director and the Secretary of State made a recommendation to the White House to arm the moderate rebels. They had vetted them, and they thought it was safe to do that in terms of weapons falling out of their hands to the jihadists. The White House said no. Well, now we're finally getting around to doing some modest arming of the rebels, but not with the kind of weapons they need, Bill.
But in your view, I mean, is this going to make a difference? I saw some of the weapons. They're vehicles, sophisticated communications equipment, advanced combat medical kits. Is there more than that?
We need to give them anti-tank weapons and also anti-aircraft weapons is what they need. But we need a strategy, Bill. We do not have a comprehensive strategy to assist the moderate rebels politically, economically, and yes, militarily. We also should have a training assistance program, not in Syria, but in Jordan. We have a small one now, but we need a much larger one to really increase the throughput. If we have a comprehensive strategy, we can start to make some progress.
Right. Now, this is not easy, and you know it well. I mean, there are at least 5 different rebel groups fighting against Assad today, and it's the most obvious proxy war I think we have ever had. I mean, we're telling the world that we're arming the rebels. Putin's saying the same thing, that he's arming Assad. You know, he said repeatedly last week that he will ship weapons to the Assad government.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Russia has been all in, and so has the Iranians. That is what has enabled Assad, along with his air power, to gain the momentum. Remember, the momentum was initially on the side of the rebels. What shifted that momentum was what you just pointed out, was the resources that the Iranians and the Russians have given to Assad. And meanwhile, we never provided any of the aid that the moderate forces were asking for.
We just watched, before the commercial break, the messages that have come from the administration over the past 13 months, and frankly, they're confusing. And that has led to the following number. Our Fox polling from a week ago shows this. Do you approve or disapprove of how the president's handling Syria? 60% disapprove. That was a week ago. Now you think about what's happened over the past 7 days. You think that number has gone up or gone down? Has he clarified the message or not?
Well, let's say the American people, those numbers reflect the confusion that they have because we do not have a clear Syrian policy. Ask anybody, what is our policy in Syria? I mean, there is no answer to that question. I would imagine the numbers would probably stay about the same. The fact of the matter is, it is confusing. I think everybody who's listening and watching this broadcast certainly understands that we do not have a Syrian policy to date.
General, thank you. We'll bring you back, okay? Jack Keane out of Washington today with us, and appreciate your insight. Thanks.